Thank you, Chancellor Wiley, for giving me the opportunity to come home today, home to Madison and to Wisconsin. This is a home, as you have noted, changed a great deal over the last several years with all the construction on campus, and I think it is very impressive and indicative of the progressive tradition of this great university. When I left campus here with my bachelor's degree in hand, I had some of the same excitement, anxiety, optimism at beginning a new life that many of you have today. Now, I want to share with you a premise that I believe deeply in. It is the fabric of who we are. It is the power of our ideas. Our founding fathers memorialized in our Declaration of Independence our right to enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The power of these ideas launched this great nation and continues to inspire millions around the world. But today, we are faced with the challenges to our beliefs, to our nation, to our environment, and to our scientific advances. The world in which we now live is a global village, connected to everything instantly, in any form, in any place we want to receive it. I can assure you this is not the world as it was when I left campus, but I was already blessed with the power of an idea that was beginning to transform my life. Let me explain how the precision of science and the art of communication propelled me on a lifelong journey. It may be difficult for you to imagine a landscape of television in 1967. The industry just offered 3 broadcast networks, maybe an independent television station, but that was about it and nothing else. Looking back from your perspective, you would consider it, I'm sure, a forbiddingly barren landscape. But it's not how it was viewed at the time. Most people thought 3 broadcast networks, who needs anything else? But that's when I saw things differently. My idea came to me from what author Malcolm Gladwell describes as a blink, meaning without thinking, but connecting. My idea was a gift that came to me quite unexpectedly and from a totally unforeseen source. And let me tell you how it happened. The year was 1966. The awesome power of that idea changed the focus of my life from science and to communications. It was serendipitous that I happened to be in London in between my junior and senior year here at Wisconsin and was out partying. I mean, we're a good party school, right? I was out partying and having a great time. But I also thought that it would be great to learn something along the way. So I stopped in one day at the London School of Economics to hear a very impressive person speak about the power of geosynchronous orbiting satellites. Their science fiction writer, Arthur C. Clarke, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and many other great science fiction books, was talking about geosynchronous orbiting satellites. Well, that's sexy, isn't it? Well, I thought this was a powerful idea. They had the power to connect people instantly around the world. His idea was so compelling as I listened to his passion for these satellites, that it was a passion that grabbed me and never let me go. I envisioned a world of instant communications beyond borders and beyond the Iron Curtain of the repressive communist regime. That's when we had a Cold War. I believe in the power of these ideas, and I was thinking about democracy, about human rights, about education, about the quality of life that we have, and the freedom we have as individuals. I was thinking about these things, and about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that it belonged to all human beings. That journey from idea to implementation wasn't a short one. It took persistence. It took 7 years for satellite and cable industries to realize the power of this idea, to create a market for its implementation. It all came together in what I like to call the night that changed the course of television history. And what would that be? That night was September 30th, 1975. The location, Vero Beach, Florida. The event, the Thrilla in Manila. Now, that was a night we demonstrated in front of the members of Congress the validity of using geosynchronous orbiting satellites for commercial use. It was what many believed to be the greatest boxing match of all time. It was the third matchup between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. And maybe some of the parents here in the room remember the fight. It was what many thought the greatest boxing match of all time. But what was the importance of that night? It demonstrated the viability of geosynchronous orbiting satellites to connect to the commercial market and provide cable television viewing in the viewer's home. It was that night, September 30th, 1975, that my dream was born. And it took another 2 years to launch what became the amazingly successful USA Network. We launched in September 1977, the first basic cable network. And what was really important about that was not the boxing match that launched it, or even the programming that followed. What became important was that it created a new business model, using advertising and licensing fees to create a real business model. And many of you today will be faced with what you will do in the future in that regard. But it made it possible for cable networks to launch and flourish, and in ensuing years became networks like CNN and MTV and ESPN, well, and 500 or 5,000 more. The rest is history. Now, 30 years later, the television landscape, indeed, the communications landscape, is vastly changed. Television is facing enormous challenges from new technologies, including the internet, broadband, mobile, social networks, bloggers, well, the list goes on. I'm sure that many gathered here today watch more video on the web and broadband on their iPods than they do in real time when it's broadcast on television. We TiVo it, we stream it, and we park it on our iPods and go on our way. How will your generation take advantage of the marriage between your passions and technology? First, let's just take a look at how technology is already changing our lives. Yours is the first generation that has grown up entirely on the internet, a primary source of education, of communication and education. Today, there's mobile text messaging, consumer-generated videos, mobile gaming, much more. Technology has transformed the manufacturing, sciences, medicine, education, transportation, the arts, well, just about everything that we touch. You have the world of technology at your fingertips. And unlike my generation, you actually know how to use it. When I served on the board of Oracle during the Internet 1.0 era, CEO Larry Ellison was obsessed with the internet. The internet is everything, the Oracle ads cried out. But it was a bit early, and it cost the company dearly because the technology wasn't quite there. But now we have Web 2.0, which is much more than a communications tool. It is a stream of collective intelligence that is open to all. More importantly, the internet today is a place to share collective knowledge. It is this collective knowledge garnered from the users and shared around the world that prompted Thomas Friedman to write his book, The World is Flat. In a flat world, all knowledge can be shared. How can you best take advantage of this? Will you transform biodegradable products into our next great source of energy? Will crops fuel not only our human consumption, but our cars, our homes, our transportation systems, and our businesses? You know, Brazil showed us the way. They did. In the 1970s, when we had the last great fuel crisis around the world, they didn't wring their hands in despair. They took their most plentiful crop, sugar, and turned it into ethanol as a biodegradable fuel. Now, a country once dependent on foreign oil is nearly self-sufficient. Today, about 40% of the fuel Brazilians pump into their automobiles is ethanol, compared with 3% in the U.S. The cost today, about $18 for them to fill up their tank. Now, we know that with food shortages and rising fuel costs, there is an arbitrage brewing between crops for fuel and crops for food. But how about converting crop waste, wood product runoff, or garbage to fuel our future? We certainly have a lot of that. Are you the person who will do it? Why not? Are you the person who will wean America on foreign oil? Why not? Education is undoubtedly on the brink of a massive breakthrough. Maria Alvarado is a visionary who runs an academy where children access the web to learn foreign languages, including Chinese, advanced math, listen to speeches of the leaders around the world to gain an understanding by observing them firsthand. What parent wouldn't want their child to have that education? These lucky children attend elementary school in Guatemala City, Guatemala. Are you the next Maria Alvarado? Why not? Whatever your passion is, follow it with persistence and focus, never straying from your compass true north. The headlines are filled today with actions that take leave of integrity. The greed that led to the subprime crisis, the fraud and no-bid contracts in Iraq, that government that deceives its citizens, all deplorable behavior bankrupting the morals of this society. Giant search engine Google implores people do no evil, but even that is not strong enough. It's imperative that we restore integrity to our society, and the task is in your hands. An admired friend of mine, founder and Vanguard Fund of the Vanguard Funds, author, and the vigilant conscience of Wall Street, Jack Bogle, sums it up in the title of his book, Character Counts. Make yours count for improving our society. As the creators of our Constitution would have you do, seek not only life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, but also the protection of our imperfect union. Integrity. The privilege is yours. Why not? Scandinavian philosopher Søren Kierkegaard offers wise advice to youth. He says, and I quote, "If I were to wish for anything, I should not wish for wealth or power, but for the passionate sense of what can be, for our eyes, which are ever young and ardent, see the possible." So today is your day to set out on your journey of passionate possibilities. What lessons have I learned that I might share with you? There are many, but here are just 4. Explore. Explore your interests with vigor and passion until your passion finds you. Pursue. Pursue your passions with relentless energy. Value human capital. Find the mentors you admire and develop those important relationships that can help you grow. Above all, value your friends and your family. And lastly, collect. Collect memories and cherish them. I guarantee you they'll be more valuable than any other possession you will ever own. So may your journey be filled with passionate possibilities. Why not?